17% increase in basic grocery items over the last 12 months. These are not good times, but they are very weird times. The purported leader of the free world cannot get off a stage.
Mr. President, thank you.
Unfortunately, that day, Joe Biden did not have his usual minder to help steer him in the right direction. Under the United States Constitution, that role is fulfilled by the Easter Bunny.
President Biden from answering reporters' questions. Hey, good morning.
Pakistan should not, and Afghanistan should be treated.
All the Easter Bunny needs, Mr. President.
Odd, don't you think? No creature more sentient than a tapeworm seriously believes that Joe Biden is actually running the United States government. By contrast, the purported deputy leader of the free world is capable of entering and exiting without the aid of minders, but otherwise she's a nitwit who staggers around the globe confidently telling international audiences that Ukraine is a member of NATO. It isn't. But her repeated iteration of that misapprehension suggests that unless they're actively trying to provoke Putin into nuking Middle Europa, her minders aren't in the loop either. And Joe Biden may be the dead husk of a moth-eaten sock puppet, but the next in line is even more prone to total gibberish.
I think that, to be very honest with you, I do believe that we should have rightly believed, but we certainly believe that certain issues are just settled. Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly we're not.
No, that's right. And that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled.
She's a goofball, but she's not necessarily wrong. These are real unsettled times. There are two obvious incompetents fronting the government of the United States, neither of whom puts in a day's work. But as American commentators are wont to say at this stage in the proceedings, channeling the Wizard of Oz,
"Folks, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain."
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. But it isn't even a man behind the curtain. It's the Easter Bunny behind the curtain. As I said, these times are not normal and have not been so for 3 years. I'm not going full-bore conspiracy theory. Respected BBC presenters like Dr. Matthew Sweet say that people who go on about... Oh, there he is. There's a respected presenter. Give that man a job. Chaps like him say that people who go on about globalists are conspiracy theorists who believe the royal family are really giant shape-shifting space lizards from the Alpha Draconis star system. But honestly, is it such a big leap to believe the Commonwealth is run by giant space lizards when the United States is run by the Easter Bunny? These are deeply weird times. And the fact that the American and British media cover them as perfectly normal only adds to the weirdness. In the United Kingdom, we spent 3 interminable months holding an election for Conservative Party leaders with hustings in every corner of the realm, at the end of which the party members pronounced Liz Truss the winner and Rishi Sunak the loser. Then the Queen died, and the politics is all on hold for a month, and when it resumes, it's decided that the winner is in fact a total loser, and September's El Stinko Floppo candidate is now October's triumphant champion. This is not normal. As I said yesterday, this is the first time in the modern era, other than during the 2 world wars, that we've had 2 successive prime ministers who reached number 10 without winning an election. That's odd. It's not normal. It's not at all normal. And the new PM is himself an oddity. Winston Churchill was twice offered a dukedom, once by our late Queen and previously by her father, King George VI. Sir Winston turned it down because he didn't think he could afford the lifestyle of a duke. No such worries for Rishi Sunak. 5 dukes have served as British Prime Minister, from the Duke of Newcastle to the Duke of Wellington, who was an extraordinarily wealthy man, but not as rich as Rishi. It's not altogether clear how Rishi got so rich. He didn't invent the Ford Model T or the fax machine, or even win the Battle of Waterloo, for which a grateful nation gave Wellington 400 grand. Instead, he's become mega rich in vague, hedgy, fundy ways that no normal person could explain to you. And it's all happened very quickly. Just a decade and a half back, he was an MBA student at Stanford University in California. But in the 10 years between Stanford and entering Parliament, he managed to become so rich that he's the first Prime Minister to be richer than his king. That's impressive. He's the first Prime Minister with a green card and a pad in Santa Monica. He's the first Prime Minister whose wife officially resides in another country. And he's the first party leader who's in number 10 because his party decided to nullify the result of its leadership election. This is all last month's leadership election too. They didn't wait long. This is all deeply weird, and it is odd to have most of the media trying to pass it off as perfectly normal in a, what was that word Kamala Harris used? In a long settled parliamentary democracy.